Our life on Earth is hinged on great expectations, and the year 2020 was expected to be a year of humanity reaching the crossroads of progress. It was then that COVID-19 struck, dashing all before it. The whole of humankind suffered the consequences. Though there are numerous inspiring stories of outliving the pandemic, ours is a tiny tale about how a small community of tribal people and their children survived this harrowing experience. How pleasantly children interact with nature, especially when they are playing. The Irrular tribal children in Karamadai block engage in playful pastimes on their way to school on a pleasant sunny morning, finding time to adore their god under the shady tree. The children enjoy the company of their schoolmates and the pristine nature in which they live. Some children from places farther away usually come to school in vehicles. The children are proud of their country and love the symbols of their nation. They love the land and its culture and traditions. They are happy when they are engaged in patriotic activities. Some of the schools are directly under the district administration and the tribal department. The children are enthusiastic to learn, and the teachers are dedicated to their all-round growth. The government provides the children with their midday meals, which is nutritious and liked by them. Children follow their tradition by reciting a Thanksgiving prayer before their meal. The midday meal is one of the attractions for the children to come to school regularly. Several amusement facilities installed in the school are a further attraction for the children. The stimulation from these benefit the mental health of the children immensely. The children and their elders in the Irrular community were leading a life of contentment, even though they did not have the amenities of an urban life. On the 31st of December 2019, reports of the outbreak of a deadly virus in Wuhan in China, later identified as COVID-19, reached them. However, the Irrular community in the hamlets of the 4 panchayats of Karamadai block of Coimbatore district, namely Tholampalayam, Veliyankadu, Kemmarampalayam and Nellithurai, continue to live as usual, without any inkling of the impending pandemic. The Irrular people reside in a reserved forest area on the banks of the Bhavani River, which is a major tributary of the Kaveri River. The Bhavani River originates in the Nilgiri Hills and is perennially fed as it is by the southwest and the northeast monsoon. It drains an area of 6,216 square kilometers, spread mainly over Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka states. "90% of its waters are used for irrigation of the vast agricultural areas in Coimbatore and Erode districts of Tamil Nadu. In the rainy season, the river becomes flooded and overflows. After traversing 217 kilometers, mainly through Tamil Nadu, the Bhavani River joins the Kaveri River near Bhavani in the state. The Irular community in Karamadai block depends mainly on the Bhavani River for their livelihood. It is a scheduled tribe having a population of approximately 7,500, mainly in the 4 panchayats of Karamadai block in western Tamil Nadu at the foot of the Nilgiri Hills. They speak the Irula Mori dialect and have their own cultural traditions, with unique forms of music, song and dance to the accompaniment of their own musical instruments. All the people participate in all cultural activities. Their traditional social organization has various hereditary functionaries. Formerly, the Irulars were hunters, collectors of forest produce and shifting cultivators. They now have become farmers and farm workers. They are engaged in the cultivation of mainly banana, finger millet, horse gram, green gram, maize and such other crops. Most of the people have banana cultivation, which is profitable in this climate and terrain. They also do odd jobs like fishing, goat rearing, cattle rearing and honey collection. Many people earn their livelihood by processing and bundling twigs and selling them for puja purposes, with other miscellaneous minor activities. They coexist peacefully with wild animals. There are places where electricity has not reached, and solar energy is used for lighting and for pumping drinking water from the Bhavani River. As this is a rain shadow region, crops that do not need much rain are cultivated using the water from this river. The Forest Department of the state government and the district administration give the people protection from wild animals and necessary assistance in their farming activities. Though these hamlets are not as advanced as the other villages in Tamil Nadu, they were happy with their peaceful life in their traditional natural habitat that depends on nature, and they protect nature in return. It was at this time that COVID-19 struck to disturb their peaceful life. The government took preemptive measures to contain the spread of the epidemic. But suddenly, a one-day Janata curfew was declared on the 22nd of March 2020 by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
ये है जनता कर्फ्यू। जनता कर्फ्यू यानी जनता के लिए, जनता द्वारा खुद पर लगाया गया कर्फ्यू।
2 days later, lockdown was announced from the 24th of March 2020. Life came to an abrupt standstill. and there were announcements over the media about the precautions to be taken by the people against the spread of COVID-19. Everyone was locked in. The children too, locked in without any outdoor playing and pastime activities. Shops were closed, and after a few days, people were out of food stock in these remote areas. Before COVID, a vehicle used to come regularly every week to sell supplies to the villagers. This vehicle stopped coming due to the lockdown and pandemic. When the volunteers of the Native Medicare Charitable Trust (NMCT), following COVID protocols, came to study the progress of coconut cultivation under the Wadi project, funded by NABARD in the area, they learnt of the seriousness of the situation from their interactions with the locals. They reported the situation to their superiors, and NMCT began distributing food and other aid materials with the help of Karl Kubel Stiftung. The people were supplied with soap, masks, sanitizer, etc. As the first step in containment, training was given on sanitation and hygiene, with directions on how to clean their hands, wear a mask, keep social distance, and such other precautionary measures. Community kitchens were started to feed the population, especially old people and children. Ambulance services were also pressed into service to cope with the emergencies related to COVID-19 and other exigencies. This was a great help to the people, as there was no vehicular service available to them during the lockdown period. Online classes started on the 15th of June 2020 by the government and private management schools. But the children in these hamlets were excluded from this program, as these children did not have proper network coverage or the necessary devices to access these classes.
ಈ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಗಾಲತಿ ಒಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಟೌನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ மக்களுக்கு வந்து படுத்து கொண்டு இருக்காரு நெட்வொர்க் கிடைக்குது மேலேவாழ மக்களுக்கு வந்து நெட்வொர்க் இல்லை செல்போனும் இல்லை எந்த காரியம் எம்தனால செய்ய முடியல சார்.
The children suffered a lot of deprivation and stress, physically and mentally, due to the loss of education and midday meals. In this situation, the village planning committee meetings, held by NMCT with the support of NABARD, requested NMCT to find a solution to the issue of the education of children.
Primary education governs the path of actual world of education. Lack of primary education may lead to the social evils such as child labor and child marriage. In the case of young children, the study should go without interruption. Otherwise, it may lead to the loss of ability to read and write and then to the stoppage of learning.
That is how the concept of homeschooling was formulated. The concept was itself pioneering in nature with no precedent to follow. As the Rojakutam program of NMCT could not be conducted due to COVID-19 in 2020, it was decided to spend the funds thus saved for starting homeschooling in 2 centers at Gopanari and Guntur in June 2020 itself. The small community centers in the villages were spruced up for the program. The health volunteers of NMCT disinfected the buildings to be used as classrooms as a precaution against the pandemic. The teachers and students were trained in taking COVID-19 precautions, especially during interactions. The initial problems and difficulties in the 2 centers helped in studying the program as a whole.
டீச்சருக்கு டைம் பத்தாம இருந்திருக்குது. ஒரே டீச்சர் எல்லா குழந்தைகளுக்கும் சொல்லி கொடுக்கும்போது
The success of the 2 centers prompted NMCT to extend the facility, and they approached KKS for support. 18 more centers were started in the first week of November 2020 by NMCT, with the assistance of KKS, which in turn got aid from Merck Family Foundation. 1 teacher and 1 assistant were appointed at each center. Basic amenities like maths, water drums, tablet computers for teachers, visibility boards, writing boards, etc. were supplied to the centers. Cooking vessels, allied materials and food requirements were also provided. Children were supplied with school bags, books, stationery items, etc., which were distributed by Dr. T.K. Chairman and Executive Director of Carl-Kubel Foundation for Child and Family, India, and Mr. A.S. Sankaranarayanan, Founder and Managing Trustee of NMCT, with the support of volunteers.
The homeschooling program would not have been successful without the support of Carl-Kubel Stiftung and Merck Family Foundation, Germany. The volunteers and the teachers were very sincere in their hard work to make the program successful. The teachers made use of the training to manage the teaching to the best possible manner. The local people were proud to be part of the program and cooperated in every way. I must thank the government authorities for their support to make the program successful.
There were students attending different classes in the same place studying together, and a single teacher had to take care of the studies of all of them at the same time. Therefore, the teachers were given special training to cope with the situation.
பேச போறோம், குழந்தைகளுக்கு சொல்லி கொடுக்க போறோம். டேபை பார்த்து நீங்க சொல்லி கொடுத்தா போதும். வேற எல்லா விதமான சப்போர்ட்டும் டேப் மூலமாகவும் பேப்பர்ஸ் நோட்புக்ஸ் எல்லாமே கொடுத்து சொல்லி.
ஹோம் ஸ்கூலிங் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்ப கட்டத்தில் எங்ககிட்ட கம்ப்யூட்டர், லேப்டாப்ஸ் எந்த வசதியுமே இல்லை. நாங்கள் எங்கள் சொந்த மொபைல் ஃபோன் வச்சு தான் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்துட்டு இருந்தோம். இதோட முக்கியத்துவத்தை அறிஞ்சு எங்களுக்கு டேப் கொடுத்தாங்க. மாணவர்கள் எல்லாருமே 1ஆவதுலேருந்து 10ஆவது வரைக்கும் இருக்கிறனால எல்லாத்து மேலேயும் எங்களால் கவனம் செலுத்த முடியல. இதுக்காக எங்களுக்கு ஸ்பெஷல் ட்ரைனிங் கொடுத்தாங்க. இந்த ட்ரைனிங் மூலயமா ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கும் தனி கவனம் செலுத்தி எங்களால் சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க முடிஞ்சது. மற்ற பள்ளியை கூட கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது நாங்கள் பின்தங்கி இருந்தாலும் இந்த ட்ரைனிங் மூலமாகவும் இந்த டேப் கொடுத்தனால நாங்கள் இதை நிவர்த்தி செய்கிறோம்னு நம்புகிறோம்.
Rotational teacher exchange programs were used to perfect this system of teaching, using more talented teachers in combination with less talented teachers in the same school. Senior students were also roped in to train younger children to wash their hands with soap before and after having meals. They also practiced keeping social distance during the lunch time. Nutritious and balanced food was distributed to the children in all the centers, preparing the same in the centers themselves.
ஊரடங்கு காலத்து வந்து என் பிள்ளைங்க பள்ளிக்கூடம் இல்லாத சங்கடமாக காடு மூடிக்கு சுற்றி கொண்டு இருந்தார். இப்போ வந்து பள்ளிக்கூடம் திறக்கக்குள்ளே நல்லா சந்தோஷமாக நல்லா ஜாலியாக சந்தோஷமாக நல்லா படிக்கார் நல்லா சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கார். நன்றி.
Training sessions were conducted for parents who were reluctant to send their children to the centers for fear of the pandemic. Precautions were explained and demonstrated to them.
அந்த ஆக்சிமீட்டர் வந்து இதுல வச்சு ஆக்சிமீட்டர் வந்து இப்படி வச்சு பார்த்தோம்னா நம்மளுக்கு வந்து அது தெரியும். அது வந்து இது பண்ணோம்னா அது வந்து அடுத்தது வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா சானிடைசர். இது வந்து கையில் அப்படியே போட்டு எல்லாத்துக்கும் இது வந்து உங்களுக்கு என்னன்னா பெருசா வந்து இது ஸ்கூல் முழுக்க வந்து இது படிக்கிறது.
Many of the hamlets had small community centers which could be used as school buildings. Where no such facilities were available, verandas of houses and shades of large trees were used as makeshift schools. There were some places in which students came from so far away that they had to travel on their own for about an hour in a coracle through a lake.
The homeschooling program implemented in the Karamade block is an exemplary example of timely intervention to mitigate the sufferings consequent on COVID-19. It was a very innovative and experimental initiative. The tribal children of Karamade block, who were deprived of their midday meal and education, must have been very glad to get them restored. I must congratulate the benefactors who came forward to implement this program and their supporters. I must say that what they did was a great service to the society. The district administration is currently focusing on problems such as these that the tribal people and other marginalized in the society are facing.
The second wave of COVID-19 came with increasing COVID cases in April 2021, necessitating more lockdowns from the 10th of May. However, this time the people were not badly affected, as initiatives like homeschooling and other programs were already in place. The awareness programs also helped in the success of the vaccination program among the villagers. Homeschooling helped in continuing education in the 20 centers, with the children happily progressing in their studies and pastimes. Due to the timely intervention of the benefactors, the life of the students returned to almost normal. Homeschooling made them happily progress at a speedy pace.
So da 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 ma de so, so da 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 ma de so, so da da ma de so, so da ma de so. Vani kere madake ma de so, madaboga pogo ma de so. Vani kere madake ma de so, madaboga pogo ma de so. Madaboga pena ಮಾಡೋಟಿ ಹೋಗೋ ಮಾದೇಶ ಮಾಡೋಟಿ ಪೇನ ಮಾದೇಶ ಮಾಡಕೊರಗಣ್ಣ ಮಾದೇಶ ಮಾಡಕೊರಗಣ್ಣ ಮಾದೇಶ ನಮಕೊರಗಣ್ಣ ಮಾದೇಶ ಚೋದೋದ ಮಾದೇಶ ಸೋದೋದ ಮಾದೇಶ ಅಂಡ ಬೆಜಮಿಕೆ ಮಾದೇಶ ಏನ ಪೊಂಗಬೇಕು ಮಾದೇಶ ಏನ ಪೊಂಗಬೇಕು ಮಾದೇಶ ಚರ ಪೊಂಗಬೇಕು ಮಾದೇಶ ಚೋದೋದ ಮಾದೇಶ ಚೋದೋದ ಮಾದೇಶ ಅಂಡ ಬೆಜಮಿಕೆ ಮಾದೇಶ ಏನ ಪೊಂಗಬೇಕು ಮಾದೇಶ ಚರ ಪೊಂಗಬೇಕು ಮಾದೇಶ ಚಲ ಪೊಂಗಬೇಕು ಮಾದೇಶ ಅದಗ ಜಕ ಅದ ಜಕ ಹದಗ ಹದ ಹದ ಜಕ ಹದಗ ಜಕ ದ ಜಕ ಅದ ಜಕ ಹದಗ ಜಕ ಹದ ಜಕ